going for about a week. Kind of busy week. Got tied up with some things. But my inspirational moment, my inspirational encouragement on today is you can rise above it. You can. And for some people that don't know they can, or some people that do know they can, you will rise above it. Let me say it that way. For some people, you can. For some others that have the confidence, you will rise above it. Some people you're still trying to figure out, I'm letting you know you can rise above it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about whatever the obstacle, whatever the challenges is, whatever the stigma is, you can rise above it. All right. You can rise above people's opinions. You can rise above whatever the challenges are. You can rise above it. You don't have to stay mediocre. You don't have to stay below who you are. You can rise above what anybody says. You don't have to allow people's opinion and people's outlook of you to cause you not to rise above it. Some people may not understand you. Some people may, and through the process of not understanding you, they come up with a stigma. They come up with their outlook of you. They come up with their personal view of you. But that's not who you are. And so this thing has been brewing and I just kept hearing within my spirit, within myself, that you can rise above it. It does not matter what's being said. As long as you don't identify with what's being said, people try to categorize an individual, or they try to um, talk about the outcome of who you are within a matter of a moment. We all have out of character moments, okay? But that's not who that person is. And so what we need to understand is that for some people, you can overcome it if you want to. And for those who understand that you can, you will overcome it. And there are some things that I had to overcome in my life. You're going to get feedback from people. You're going to get different perspectives of people. And, I was talking to my students today, and I was really encouraging them to don't allow things to stop you from dreaming. Don't allow people's personal viewpoints or people's perspective, because some people will write you off just because you won't take their advice. And there are some people that want you to live out their opinion and their thought of you. That's what some people want. But listen, and so what happened is they will discredit you, they will disown you. But listen, just because they discredit you and they disown you, it's okay. But you can rise above whatever their perspective is. You can rise above it. You don't have to be less than just because somebody can't see your potential, somebody can't see the greatness within you. You can still rise above it. You can still rise above. I'm just talking about rising above the obstacles, the challenges, whatever's before you. You don't have to be less than. You don't have to become less than. No, you can rise above it. Listen, whatever the stigma is, there is always somebody that has a stigma of somebody. But listen, you can rise above it. In other words, you can prove that haters wrong, that whatever your outlook or your perspective of me, I'm trying to show you this through my life that I'm living. And it's not me personally. I'm just encouraging somebody today because somebody is faced with this obstacle and they don't think they can rise above it. They're looking at the challenge that is in front of them. They're hearing what the naysayers are saying, and they personally feel that they can't rise above it. But you can, because you have to have the mindset of being an overcomer. You have to have the mindset of being victorious and not having the mindset of being defeated. You can rise above it. Yes, the obstacle looks challenging. Yes, what's before you seems to be so overwhelming. But listen, you can overcome it. You can rise above it. You can rise to the occasion. It kind of reminds me of some of the basketball games when you look at certain players and that big game, big moment, the big lights. And when they're in that situation, yes, that challenge that's before them is very great, but they can rise above whatever the challenge is. They can come out victorious regardless of whatever the challenge is. But you have to believe and know that you can rise above it. And this thing has just been brewing in my spirit for a minute, just all week long, that listen, things can happen unexpectedly, but just because it happens unexpectedly does not mean I can't rise above it. Yes, we have experienced things through our childhood, and people have said things, and people have done things to us, and people have lied on us, and people have discredited us. And whatever it is, guess what? You can still rise above it. You can still rise above it. You know, my mom used to say, and she used to say this because she was frustrated and she didn't properly heal from things of the past, and she would say hurtful things. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I had to rise above my mom's pain. The things that she spoke to me is, I don't believe really she really wanted to speak, but she didn't know how to heal properly. But I had to rise above what she said. I couldn't, out of disrespect, I couldn't disrespect her and respond back, but I had to understand that what my mom said and what she may have saw, I had to rise above what she said. I had to become better than what she said I was. And I became determined. Frustrations is something that we may experience, but frustrations doesn't mean we're going to get a better outcome. It's determination. And so I didn't allow myself to be frustrated, but I allowed myself to be so determined to rise above whatever the stigma is, whatever has been said that I can't be, I can't do. Don't let nobody speak that you can't do it. Yes, you can. You can rise above it. Somebody doesn't believe that you can get to the next level. Yes, you can get to the next level, and you can rise above it. I tell my students every single day that the only thing is stopping you is you. You stop you from rising above the challenges and obstacles. You stop you. Because oftentimes we will talk ourselves out of rising above whatever the situation may be. Don't talk yourself out of rising above it. No, talk yourself into saying, hey, I will rise above it. I will get ahead of the game. I will become better. I know people see me this way, but this just because you try to judge me in a moment, I'm not that. And I'm going to rise above people's outlook and perspectives. So this is a short one. I didn't want to be on here super long, but it's just been brewing in my spirit to encourage somebody. You can rise above it. I don't know what your it is. I don't know what your challenge is. I don't know what you're accomplishing, whatever the goal is, whatever thing you're trying to accomplish. I don't know what that it is, but you know what that it is. You know what you're trying to rise above. You know what's before you, and you know the things that you have heard. You know the things that you may have saw or you're currently seeing right now, but it does not have to stop you from rising above. Just begin to look over the course of your life and all of the challenges and obstacles, all the things, all the naysayers and all the things that people have said. And you look at where your life is right now, and you can see that through the course of your life, when it seemed like you would not make it, you have risen to the occasion and you have risen above whatever the obstacle and the challenge was. You can rise above it. Reason why we don't accomplish some things is because part of it is we don't see ourselves rising above it. All right. Yeah, there's a such thing of being humble, which is a very important thing, but you don't have to degrade yourself. You don't have to tear yourself down, all right, to become low. No, just remain humble. Be who you are. Remain humble. You don't have to boast in that thing, but remain humble and rise above whatever you need to rise above. And so just jumped on here real quick, just to share some encouragement on a Friday afternoon that you can rise above it. Let that thing brew in your spirit, let it, as you go through the course of your day, keeping that thought in your mind. Saturday is coming. I don't know what you're going to be facing. I don't know what you're going to be going through, but whatever you're going through, whatever may happen, suddenly, whatever it may happen unexpectedly, just get that in your spirit that I can rise above it. I can rise above it. I can rise above it. That whatever's before me, I don't have to become subject to it. I don't have to become subject to people's thoughts. I don't have to become subject to people's opinions. And this is the reason why we don't rise above it, because we allow ourselves to become subject to people's opinion. Thanks, big bro. Bless you, Pastor. We allow ourselves to be subject. Yes, life has happened. Something happened in your life, but that's not who you are. No, you got to rise above it. You have to rise above it. And that's my encouragement to you. We all have experienced something, but are you going to rise above it, or are you going to be beneath, or you're going to allow yourself to be subject. Because if you allow yourself to be subject to whatever you're trying to rise above, then listen, you're basically saying that you don't understand your worth or your value. What's up, bro? Bless you, man. You be encouraged, man. Rise above it. I know through the course of your life, you have some challenges and obstacles. And I don't have to go into great detail. You know, we've talked. Listen, be encouraged. Rise above it. Don't become less than, become greater. Become the best version of you. And the best version of you is rising above your obstacles and your challenges. Don't allow your mistakes. Allow your, I teach my students that, and you're one of them, that it's really not a mistake, it's a learning lesson. All right. What we call mistakes, that's really me learning how not to do that again. All right. And so be encouraged, man. Keep fighting. Keep striving to do the right thing, making the right decisions. Because when you do the right thing and you make the right decisions, you're actually rising above the challenges and obstacles. If you want to become the best version of you, then you have to rise above. You have to become better. All right. You have to become better. There has to be an inner determination. You have to be determined. Can't get frustrated. I was training some students, some athletes this week, and one of the athletes got kind of frustrated in the process of the drill. And I said, listen, your frustration, and I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, your frustration is not going to help you perfect this drill. Your frustration is not going to change the outcome of this drill. But it's when you get focused and you get determined, that's what changes the outcome of this drill. That's what changed it. And why do I say that? It's because we have to build people's confidence. You listen, and you heard me do previous videos before, when nobody else encourages you, when nobody else pats you on the back, when nobody else is motivating you, when nobody else is celebrating you, you have to learn how to encourage yourself and rise above the challenges. You may not have mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister in your corner motivating you and pushing you to do whatever you got to do, but you yourself have to be so determined to rise above the obstacles and the challenges. Rise above it. So that's my encouraging word to you. Rise above it. As you begin to go through the course of this evening, going into the weekend, going into to next week, and things are going to happen. We quote the scripture, greater is he that's within us. It's the greatness of Christ that's within us that gives us the ability, to overcome, that gives us the ability to rise above it. To gives us the ability to rise above whatever the obstacle is. Well, I appreciate your encouragement, man. It's always been an honor, teaching you and coaching you. But now that you are a young man that has a family, and I understand the different stigmas and different things that we may go through as men. All right. We may go through as men, but guess what? We can rise above the stigma. We can rise above the mishap. We can rise above the miscue. We can rise above it. All right. And guess what? It may take 15 years, but rise above it. It may take 20 years. There were some things that it took 20 years for me to overcome. It took literally 20 years. But I was so determined to rise above the challenges that was before me. I was not focusing on the challenge. I was rising above it. I wasn't even thinking about the challenge no more. I was thinking about becoming a better me, becoming the best version of me, regardless of the stigma, regardless of the thoughts and things that have been said. And it took 20 years. It took 20 years. And I kind of shared this testimony because I've been the best father. My sons are grown now. My wife and our sons are grown, but it took literally 20 years. My son was like 21, maybe 22. And he says, Dad, all the things that I heard about you, I saw what you done. I knew the time that you spent with me. But he says, all of the stuff that they said, he said, Dad, you're nothing like what they said. Guess what? It took 20 years, over 20 years for me to rise above it. For him to see for himself. Sometimes some people won't see you rise above it. right away. But he said that to me, and it shifted my life because I realized I had to wait 20 years, even though I had risen above it, even though I did everything within my possible, and I got closure and stuff. I'm just sharing a testimony because I know there are fathers out there that are struggling with hearing these things of you're not a good dad and you're not a good father and you're not this and you're not that, and you hear this stigma, you're not a good man and you're not this. You hear all of the negativity, and we have to learn as men to rise above it. I didn't say it was, sometimes you're going to cry, sometimes it's going to be frustrating, but listen, you have to be so determined to rise above it. I play basketball, but I'm not a basketball player in that sense. But I had to rise above it. Even when I play sports, think about basketball, since you asked me if my basketball player is. Even when I play sports, I had to rise above what they said. I had to rise above it. Because when I got on the court, everything you said that I'm not, I was able to prove to you that I was. Because I was determined to rise above it. And I was determined to rise above it with good character and with integrity. All right? You don't have to rise above it and with a negative attitude. You don't have to rise above it and be boastful and arrogant. No, don't rise above it in that way. Rise above it and still have integrity. Rise above it and still have good character. Rise above it, all right? And still have morals and values. Rise above it with those things intact. Rise above it. So that's my word for you. I'm not being prophetic, even though, God uses me in a prophetic way. And it could be prophetic to some, because maybe you're looking at your life at this moment and you're faced with a situation, you got to rise above it. So maybe it could be prophetic for some, but to others, it's just to really encourage you. And this thing has been brewing in my spirit for a minute, just rise above it. And every day that I wake up, I kept hearing in my spirit, rise above it. And I don't even know what was said. I don't even know what was going on in the spirit realm, but it was like, rise above it. Now, it was encouraging me, and it made me even more determined. And I didn't even know what I had to rise above, but I was so determined to rise above. And so, baby, this was just growing in my spirit to release it, to uplift somebody. And, and I myself had to experience the importance of rising above each and every day. So, hey, love you all. Thank you for tuning in. To my YouTubers, thank you. Definitely subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I see everybody that's on. Listen, help me build my YouTube channel. Those who are on Facebook, thank you for tuning in. Listen, be encouraged. I'm trying to get more in a flow of doing my inspirational moments because I want to encourage you spiritually. For those who are in business and entrepreneurship, I want to give you some business tips and all that kind of stuff as well. I want to pour into you. As God pours into me and gives me what to say, puts on my heart what to say, I want to pour into you as God, pours into me. And so listen, be encouraged. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to share my YouTube link on as soon as I close out on this live video here. Definitely feel free to subscribe. You can follow my inspirational moments. You can follow our ministry, which is every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. We are live at 11 a.m. Our worship and prayer starts at 10:30. We go live at 11 a.m. If you have not been at a SIG ministry worship and word experience, listen, you're missing a treat. God has really been moving. He's been speaking in a mighty way. And so listen, come on out and fellowship with us. We encourage you to come on and fellowship. We're not trying to pull you away from your ministry. We just say, hey, come fellowship with us. I know for a fact that because God is there, we usher in God's presence, we welcome God's presence. I know you will have a God experience and a God encounter. So come on out and worship with us every Sunday at 10:30, every Thursday at 7 p.m. is our Bible study, live Bible study. And I've been teaching on evangelism, so it's a really powerful study on evangelism. So listen, God bless. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your love and support. My pastor, bro, always thank you. Love you much, man, for always your support. To my former student, love you, man. Just be encouraged. I'm here. Just want to say some things that uplift your spirit, but be encouraged. Tune in next time. That next time should be hopefully Sunday. If not before then, listen, tune in and be empowered. God bless.